Let's move on to 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Chargers 2-3, 1-1 on the road. The Kansas City Chiefs 5-1, 2-1 at home. We're at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, 72 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour. Beautiful weather for this one on Sunday afternoon. Let's get into the line history here. We have this spread has moved to 5.5. Bet Chris, and bookmaker Sharp Books, they've moved it to 5. This opened up at 5.5. The numbers in Troy's database for spots that go through the number 6 to 5.5 are wild for the dog, but this maybe hasn't officially really done that. At least at Pinnacle, it hasn't done that. But still, in this matchup, I have a vividness bias of the Chargers covering these spots, especially in Kansas City, and it makes me want to back them. The total here is at 48. It's juiced to the over. It has dropped from 49 over at Pinnacle. And then when we get over to the cash flow here, you have on the total 66% of the tickets and 88% of the cash on. Sorry, I did that wrong. 66% of tickets, 88% of the cash on the under. And from a point spread situation here, sorry, I pressed the wrong button here. From that, we have 76% of the tickets and 80% of the cash on, a road dog. That's not a situation that I want.
Yeah.
But I do like them here. The Chargers come in on a short week after losing 2017 at home on Monday night to the Cowboys. I think that's the worst game I've ever seen Justin Herbert play. And you have to imagine that the fractured finger on the non-throwing hand is part of it. He missed some wide open throw. That's just by far the worst I've ever seen him play. He was 22 of 37 for 227 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Keenan Allen caught 7 passes for 85 yards and a touchdown. Joshua Palmer caught 4 for 60. Austin Eckler did not look good in his return from injury. I mean, I think that can be expected, but he did, 14 carries for 27 yards, caught 4 for 35. The Chargers were just 2 of 4 in the red zone. They're 4th in the league, converting 65% of those opportunities. The defense played very well, kept the Bolts in it. The 5 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. They were expecting to get starting safety Alohi Gilman back after the bye, but he was inactive still. This heel injury is lingering. So Raheem Lane got the start in place of Gilman, and he suffered a knee injury. So they're down to Dean Marlowe playing beside Derwin James. I don't think there's much of a difference, or at least they don't believe there's that much of a difference between Raheem Lane and Dean Marlowe. You have Asante Samuel, Michael Davis, and Jasir Taylor as starting quarterbacks, and Samuel and Davis have looked really bad this year, but they looked much better yesterday. We've talked about how bad they've been graded out so far this year, but they look much better yesterday. The Chargers have covered the spread in each of their last 5 games as an underdog following a loss. This all appeals to me here. The Chiefs coming off extra rest after an underwhelming 19-8 win over the Broncos at home on Thursday night. And the reason why I haven't already bet this is because of the underwhelming victory, because the Chiefs offense didn't look good. Now they have a team that they want to beat badly coming to town. Mahomes is 30 of 40 for 306 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He also ran 6 for 31. Kelsey caught 9 for 124, and Rashee Rice caught 4 for 72. Pacheco ran 16 times for 62 and caught 6 for 36. So their playmakers are doing the job, but they were 4 for 13 on third down. They were 1 of 5 in the red zone. Their red zone offense has not been good this year. 17th in the league. 54.17% of their red zone drives have been converted into touchdowns. But the Chiefs defense completely shut down the Broncos. The defense looks so strong. It held the Broncos to 197 total yards, held Wilson to just 37 passing yards in the first half. They finished with 4 sacks, 7 quarterback hits. Reed and Bolton each had interceptions. And Chris Jones is just rolling, man. They had a sack in his 8th straight regular season game. So now that I say it all out loud, I don't know why we wouldn't bet the under. But I think that we get a better showing from both offenses than we saw last week. And I guess I didn't want the bias from what I just saw to affect me and just make me think, the under is a bet. But, I love betting unders when these two teams played and it would be 53.5. And we talked all about how good their offense is. But this is a big difference. We're talking about 5 points difference from what I'm used to when these two teams play. Take it away for us here, Mikey. This is a fun one. Chargers, Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Yeah, I feel like, obviously we were just talking about these Chargers last night. I'll tell you what, boatload of money by taking Dak Prescott. He owed me after that week prior, so I was happy to get that cash. But, as far as this game's concerned, surprisingly enough, as I dug into some of these numbers, the Chargers have been one score or less tied or leading in every fourth quarter against Kansas City in the past 2 seasons. So surprised to see those numbers. Excuse me. As I broke it down, I was looking at it saying they're playing this team competitively. And in the Brandon Staley era, when you get totals that are at 47.5 or higher, they're going under at an alarming rate. So it's kind of like you were talking about there with these 53s to see some of these numbers pop off. And it's a divisional game. So divisional games, we know they like to play them tight. Number that jumps off the page for me and kind of supports the Chargers. I'll take a step back and say I'm a little disappointed that this number opened up where it did. I was hoping for more of that 6.5 or 7. So to see 5s and I see some 5.5s out there now kind of concerns me a little bit, but I was hoping that, hey, they lose to the Dallas Cowboys. They come out here and they get the job done. Where on the flip side of things, if they beat the Cowboys convincingly, we would probably be sitting at a 2.5 or a 3, which wouldn't have been good. So I think there's some value in this line just based off of the early reaction from last night. But teams that are back-to-back, home games against divisional opponents, when they've got a line that's between -3 and -8, right? So that's this parameter specifically. This number is kind of sitting right in the middle, and it shouldn't matter how much movement we get barring any major injuries. Goes all the way back to the NFL season 2005. They're 4-14 against the spread. They're 6-12 straight up in those spots as well. So the numbers for me support, a situation where the Chargers could actually come out here and shock this Kansas City team. But where I'm a little apprehensive is that magic elixir that is Taylor Swift and what's been going on with her and Kelsey out there. They've been playing better. They've been covering more games at home now than they should have. And, the first half of the season, we know they're not playing as a cover team at home. But I like this Chargers team. I like this spot specifically with these back-to-back divisional home games, knowing how damn close they've been. Justin Herbert's one of the better quarterbacks in the first half of the NFL all career long. And then last night I talked about that second half. They haven't covered a second half all season. Last night they pushed. They're actually 0-3-2 now in the second half. So I guess I'm kind of setting the table to say I like that Chargers in the first half at +3.5. In fact, I'm going to lock that in. I'm going to take the first half +3.5. And then I'm going to look to live bet the Chiefs. Maybe the Chargers are winning outright in that first half. I don't know. Maybe crazier things have happened. Maybe they're up a field goal or 2 points and some wonkiness that takes place. And then I'm going to live bet the shit out of the Kansas City Chiefs to come back and slap them Chargers right in the mouth. So 3.5 is the number that I got for that first half.
3.5. Yeah, market wide right now, available. No extra vig. That's a very, very interesting look. I just want to hear Justin say it has nothing to do with my hand. I just played badly. I just want to hear it. I want to hear him say it and look into the camera and fucking say it to me.
I'd be pissed if they come back in the second half and they come back and backdoor cover and I lose that my philosophy goes out the window. Yeah, I will. And that wouldn't be the first time that's happened. I don't play a lot of first halves, but you're right. I mean, is he, you would think if you're the leader of these men and there's these high expectations for your team to go out there and perform, that you would be a man and take some responsibility and be like, you know what, that loss is on me. Takes the pressure off of everybody else. It keeps them kind of head on a swivel, head above water. They're treading water. They're able to come back into this next game and focus. Whereas, by just leaving it out there, everyone's going to be questioning what the hell happened. And is it Herbert that's a bag? I think he is a bag.
Big O says that he believes the Chiefs are a top 5 defense. If the Chiefs are a top 5 defense in the NFL, then, they should win another Super Bowl. Even if their offense is not what we've seen it in the last couple of years, they haven't had an elite defense, which is what we're seeing. I mean, watching Snead on Jefferson was just like, it's like, oh my God. He can shut down Jefferson like this. It was crazy. Nunya looking at Chargers money line. DC Capper on the under. A Loyalty Chisel says it's amazing how many one possession games the Chargers have lost in the last 10 years. I mean, it's just pointing your fingers at these ass clown coaches that they keep having and hiring. All right, Chargers first half +3.5 for Mike. I expect to end up on the Chargers. I've just got to get over what I saw last night. I just got to get over it. I expect to be on them at this, and then we'll know. I mean, is it? God, it's like is it worth risking money to find out if Herbert really is off right now? My guy Burgundy Bets in the house. What up?
Also keep in mind the Eckler factor too, though, right? Yesterday was the first game that Eckler was back. Star player comes back. You got to think about fading that team, and now they've got Eckler back and ready with hopefully establishing more of a game plan. He already knows how to play Kansas City Chiefs, so it's not a matter of him having to learn any particular script. He just needs to go out there and be healthy and have confidence that he can go out there and run the ball. And if they run the ball, it takes that pressure off of Herbert. and that giant meathead of his to go out there and not throw so many interceptions.
Yeah, and Mark Schumacher says the answer no, it's not worth it. There's my guy Nate Cerna in the house. Mikey M's on the Chargers first half plus 3.5. I expect to be on them. What if you had is the total so much lower than what we're used to? Would keep you off the under, or do you still find the under appealing? Because I still do.
I like the under. Just a Brandon Staley factor. He's ready to go. He's geared up for, totals that are over 47.5. So for whatever reason, and I think this kind of supports that Eckler's back in the fold philosophy that they're able to keep that ball on the ground and move the clock. So if I had a free play, gun to my head and I had the free play, I guess I would consider that under. I wouldn't be mad at anybody that wanted to tease it with the under. You're going to buy that thing up to 54 points and take a plus 11 or 11.5 on the Chargers. That's another good look for the thing here as well. But, I like the first half because in a game like this, where I still think that full game outcome is variable, I got the opportunity to live bet myself and at least come back to 0, or maybe I move up 2 units on it. So we'll see.
I like it. Chargers, Chiefs. We move on